All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Every so often when I play with my inputs, it doesn't like them. So now I'm showing that my boom mic should be working. And then we'll see if we can get... oh, this should be good. Too much technology, and I'm good with technology. Every time I unplug my laptop, it likes to redo all my settings. Perfect. Well, I don't know what I was rambling about earlier. Took way too long for me to get back to cutting things up and streaming. I have far too many games I need to catch up on. Just got the other half of the Air Force Navy game in. Finished it last night, posted it today. So I am multiple weeks behind. And between coaching and Big Ten football starting up and work and life, it's been a fun couple weeks. So hopefully you guys haven't been fiending too much for this stuff. I picked Army UTSA for today just because I think it's a closer game, which sometimes are more fun to watch, more representative than, you know, a giant blowout. Yeah, there's a sweet spot of blowout and getting blown out that makes doing these cut-ups kind of more fun, more informative, or just, you know, selfishly more interesting for me. And I've been working with a current playoff team in another state since we're not coaching at the moment. So was watching some of their film. I actually need to record something for them later today. I'm not going to say who they are just in case. Oh, did he pick that? No. Okay. Otherwise, I hope everything's going well for people. We got our first snow today in Chicago of the year. So that'll be great. I actually want to do this a little smaller. And then hopefully, what was I rambling about? There should be some music coming through. It took me a long time to figure out how to do stream music without getting whatever copyright strike or like taken down. So I'm hoping that's the case, fingers crossed. If randomly I go dark, that's probably what happened. I don't think anything should happen. I was playing around with it a lot, but you never know when it comes to this stuff. Theoretically, legally, I don't know if I should be doing like play cut-ups. I feel like I talk about this every time I stream, but I haven't gotten yelled at for it yet, so that's a plus. If you haven't seen, I've actually had a really good time recently. Let's see, I've done 2 podcasts recently. So there's the Armchair Coaching podcast with Coach Darren Sheffer. And then the Sideline podcast with Coach Steve, both of which have come out in about the last week and a half-ish. So that's exciting. So if anyone else has their own content and they're looking for a guest, I'm always happy to do that. And can, you know, since I'm not coaching, I have a fair amount of availability I can schedule into. Just some shameless self-promotion here. My wife thinks it's hilarious because I like to just dance around. You know, I get excited when I get to do, well, with COVID, I like to just talk to people. So meeting new people, doing podcasts. I did a midline clinic. Is this a misplay? Yeah. Did a midline clinic for another podcast, or well, YouTube channel the other day, and that should be coming out right after election day, like first day of November, or excuse me, first week of November. So maybe he'll have me back on, or you know, I think it made me want to go back and redo some of my early videos on like triple and midline and rocket and all my normal you know, sainted six plays, just because I've gotten better at it, my technology's gotten better at it, and you know, maybe give some addendums or like part 2. All right, Johnny, welcome. Getting back from cross country practice. We're just hanging out, cutting up Army UTSA. Still in kind of the phase, but just need to get all the plays set up. And we'll go from there. Had some audio issues to start out with, so thank you to those that, again, stayed. You might be able to get some underlying music. Actually, there we go. I don't know. I don't think I can do any kind of requests. I can choose like style of music to put on. What do I think about Luke McCaffrey from Trevor? I will be honest, as far as what day is it? Monday. I've only heard feedback on Luke McCaffrey, which was resoundingly positive. As far as Nebraska, yeah, I have friends that went to Nebraska. They are a Big Ten opponent. I guess I won't hold it against the McCaffrey family that Dylan decided to transfer away from Michigan, because after we got our look at Joe Milton, I'm okay with that. But I don't know, Trevor, what should I think of Luke McCaffrey? I think any reason for Nebraska fans to be excited is generally good. I still need to get to Memorial Stadium. It's on my list of Big Ten stadiums I need to get to. But otherwise, I know Nebraska kept it close with Ohio State for a while, and then, well, didn't. Which I feel like is how a lot of games against Ohio State for a lot of teams go. Yeah, Nebraska going back to I-form option or option of any sort does seem like that. Yeah, they really should go back to something like that. You know, them trying to go and do, God, who was it? Who was the first one to pull them away from that, really? Like Bill Callahan? You know, there's something about Nebraska that is, you know, Eric Crouch, option football. You know, even the Bo Pelini years were at least a little bit more pro style, if I remember correctly. I think they're a school that benefits from it, right? Like, if they're going head to head with, you know, other mid-tier Power 5 teams for recruits, you know, it's hard, you know, if they're all running the same offense to say, hey, do you want to go to California or do you want to go to Nebraska? And I think they kind of have to own who they are. And like, that's the kind of football that Nebraska fans kind of yearn for. Well, the first would be winning. Yeah, Tommy Frazier. I was gonna say my Nebraska knowledge. I remember like the Eric Crouch years when they were really good, and I want to say they may have lost to Miami in a national title game. I was really young at that point. And that was before they were in the Big Ten, so I wasn't really paying attention to them a huge amount. And I'm going to guess, so from running back, I don't know if, was Luke McCaffrey recruited as a running back or a quarterback? I know Christian was obviously a running back. I know Dylan was a quarterback. I mean, the way they play the position, they're similar, but I didn't know if you said from running back, if that was abnormal or not, or if they're just trying to get him on the field because he's that talented. Because I know we've done that with some players as well. We being Michigan. Man. Long drive. Man, we're already at halftime? This was a short first half. Defensive flag, scoring play. Okay. Is Army going to run any plays before halftime? Just for posterity, and so I don't have to spend as much time trying to bring that. I'll clip up the kneel before half just because. Oh, he was all right. He was recruited as a quarterback. Wishbone team. Is the backup better than the starter? I feel like that's the grass is always greener, especially if your starter hasn't been great. You know, you have to hope Scott Frost will put it together as a former quarterback himself. A good old-fashioned Wishbone team would be great. It's something I'm surprised, honestly. Like, if there was a team to do it, I feel like Nebraska's up there. You know, the other ones maybe like Arkansas. Because I don't see, Texas. I don't see Oklahoma. Who else would have been like in the Southwestern? I mean, SMU's had success, so they're probably not going to go that way. November 7th, I can't even keep straight what's going on. Did Nebraska not play this week? Is that what happened? Am I okay? Yeah, having Big Ten football back has changed my life. And I was depressed because normally I'd watch my my Michigan football with one of my best friends here that's also a Michigan grad. But he had something come up at the last minute and we couldn't watch the game. So I was left watching it with my wife. But Big Ten football back is life-changing. Yeah. I'll try to leave the COVID politics out of it, but it does, I couldn't listen to my college football podcasts. I didn't, I would watch maybe, some highlights of games, but really didn't, haven't been keeping too close a track to college football up to this point just because it was too painful. And I feel like any other Midwest Big Ten fans probably either have the same story or can at least empathize. Oh, they played Ohio State. Whoosh. sorry. ADD. I totally forgot that we were talking about them losing to Ohio State. That's what happens when I try to talk and clip at the same time. So my apologies on that. Yes, Pac-12 is going to be great. Best defense from I'm gonna say Tomas, based on how it's spelled. Best defense to play against the triple option. I don't think there's one best defense. As far as defensive tips, depending on your personnel, first thing, because I was just talking about this with another coach, if you have a big nose guard, any type of odd front with a nose guard that can dominate the center is always going to give the quarterback fits if you can push the center back into the mesh. Most flexbone teams don't really like 4 eyes either. So what is that? Inside the tackle, because it's hard to pick up. 3-5 stack can be tough for sure. Although a good flexbone coach will probably try to get them to break their stack via formation. Let's see. There was another defensive point I was going to make. I'm always terrified of a team that can mix in corner fill, especially out of so if you have a too high safety front, knowing who's going to take deep, like if that corner can trigger, it makes our A-backs have to make that read and do it fast. And I don't trust a lot of A-backs to be able to do that, especially when a lot of other teams don't do that. I've also seen teams like 4-4 teams stack their middle backers, right? So it's a 4-4, but the 2 middle backers are stacked. So like the first guy basically takes on all the blocks, and the back one is basically just like your monster back. Favorite to win the Pac-12 from Trevor. What even are the rankings at the moment? Like I said, I've been out of the game, and I've pretty much just been focusing on Midwest Big Ten football. I couldn't even tell you who's good in the Pac-12. Every year, right, you would be like, I don't know, USC is usually a guess. I know Washington's up there. Sorry, I'm bringing up my college football standings because I'm cheating. Oh, they've got Oregon's ranked. They've got USC ranked. So Cal, no. Oregon's up there. OSU, no. Stanford, no. Washington's up there. Cougs, I won't support after Leach left. Arizona State will surprise people. Arizona's still not great. CU, Mel Pearson left and just got beat by Rutgers. Get wrecked. UCLA is trash. USC is USC in Utah. Yikes. I don't know. I feel dumb. I don't feel strongly enough about the Pac-12 to know. I might say Oregon just because they're the highest ranked. I still think it's crazy. Like, USC should be the best team in that division every year. Like, if you're telling me I'm a, 5-star D1 athlete, and you're like, hey, you want to go to like the biggest school and have the nicest weather, like on the beach, come to USC. And they, did they hire Todd Helton? This is how bad of a college football fan I've been outside of Michigan recently. I couldn't even tell you who is the USC coach. Oh, they don't even have it. I don't know if ESPN has it listed. Oh, it is Clay Helton. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. Momentum asks, do I do breakdowns of teams like Georgia Southern? Yes, I feel like I've done a no, have I not done Georgia Southern yet? Maybe I meant to. Maybe I have the game. Usually in the off season, I'll do some of the smaller teams, and by smaller, I just mean like division wise. But I have not had a chance to do that yet. I used to only be able to do one game a week. I still, can barely do one game a week. But in the off season, sometimes just to like, either if I'm bored or, keep the skills up, learn some things, see other teams. That's usually when I do it. So that's why I started picking up, did some Kennesaw State games this off season. I did a few other ones, Citadel. But that was mainly just because they beat Georgia Tech and, a little bit of sweet, what would you call that? Not sweet irony. Schadenfreude, I think is the term. Man, trying to talk and do this at the same time is wicked. Sorry, let me get this to the point where I need to... There, all right. So what else? Oregon, Utah, USC, and the best team in the Pac-12 is the Huskies. Yes, I do. I mean, like I said, I'll always be a Washington fan. I love that campus. Flexbone into RPOs, Johnny, is natural. Just because you can see a lot of how the option football works. You're used to the reads, you know how to incorporate short routes into what is essentially a play action pass with a running component. I don't think that's that abnormal. Yeah. So that's the other reason. Thank you for reminding me why I haven't done a ton of Georgia Southern. Because when they do things out of the pistol and out of shotgun, and you'll even notice it like when I do the cut-ups of Army and Navy, and like when they go pistol and pistol and gun, a lot of what I'm doing is guessing. I'm basically just taking the concepts of regular flexbone plays and applying it to what they're doing. But some of the intricacies of, zone read and, inside zone, outside zone, I don't like, I could do more of that. I feel like it's just enough out of my wheelhouse where I don't want to like go in and guess and have, a bunch of shitty people on the internet be like, you're an idiot. Cause like I am an idiot, but I'd prefer to at least get that for like reasons that I'm okay with, as opposed to something I'm trying to guess at. Although people have asked me for that kind of stuff. Who did they ask me for? Shoot, is it Davidson in North Carolina that people were asking me for? So there's always, I don't know, every year I feel like, I've put some stuff out there on pistol. I have my thoughts on it. I think I love the offense. I think anything can be successful. I think running it out of the pistol gives you some different angles and different looks. Whereas, midline's not going to hit as fast, but, it's a lot easier to run more of like a jet sweep concept. And then actually the first version of this offense I coached in, we had a pistol set. And as a coach, I actually loved the pistol set. But that's when I was coaching like high school freshmen, and it's really easy to trick them with some basic misdirection. So we'll see. I don't know if someone has a playbook. Actually, I need to switch sides on these so I can actually read the chat. There we go. Sorry, catching up. Yeah, dive and pitch paths do make things really difficult. Or I shouldn't say really difficult. It's different, right? So I've seen some teams that want to go like full under center flex bone and then basically just run the same plays out of pistol. And I'm not really sure why you do that. Like, the biggest thing I notice, and as a former offensive line coach, you have to have a center that's good at under center snapping and pistol snapping, which trying to find a kid that's good at one of those can sometimes be difficult, much less both. And like I said earlier, if the defense has a big nose guard and you're, oh, that did actually work. Oh, it didn't work quite as well. I need to figure out why that didn't come across as much as I was expecting. Sorry, caught me off guard. What was I ranting about? Oh, so if you have a kid that's trying to pistol snap or shotgun snap, and he's not 100% confident in it, and then you put a giant nose guard over him and ask him to do that, you have, it's just one extra thing that can go wrong. Sometimes I feel like in this offense, we play with enough fire, between the reads and pitching, where you get some negative plays. So as a coach, when I want to try to limit negative plays, I feel like trying to do it out of the pistol is just one more thing that I don't really want to worry about. But to each their own. Yeah, it can be a little sexier for people. I totally get that. Maybe one day if I get like an all-star at quarterback, and it gives him more room to run, I can get that. Yeah, it's amazing the option stuff. Because what was I looking for just recently? Oh, because I put out the tweet trying to figure out what to call that one formation where it's, basically over on one side with both A's on the other side. And after that tweet, I found out no one knows what that's called. But so I was trying to find like a Navy playbook or an Army playbook from the last decade or so, and I couldn't find one. If I'm being genuinely honest, I spent, I don't know, an hour looking. So I combed through a lot of resources, a lot of clinic presentations, but still no good answer for what people call that formation. I haven't seen Army run it yet today, but it's come up enough times in the last couple weeks, years. And I feel stupid being at like heavy, tight, A's opposite, heavy, tight, A's, whatever. One of these days I'll get that figured out. We've always joked about as a coaching staff going to, well, probably not anytime soon, but going to Annapolis and sitting down, going to spring practice for Navy so we can like pick some of these things up. I don't think we're ever going to run that formation at the high school level, but I wouldn't be opposed to it if we had reasons to. Oh, that actually would explain why I can't find anything on Army and Navy playbooks, although I wouldn't be surprised if there was something out there. People do tend to like to hoard their knowledge of things like that, between playbooks and film. Someone asked other channels that do option stuff. There's a Triple Option Academy. I'm trying to think of who the other people are. Everything is kind of a weird variation of option, flexbone, triple. And I guess I'm kind of guilty of that too, but at some point they all kind of start to sound the same when you're trying to pick them out. But I do know, who did I do the clinic for the other day? Let me get his name, because I think he had some stuff. Oh, Coach Banstra, that's right. Coach Banstra has some option stuff because he has people like me on that like to talk to them. Let me see. Can I put this in the chat, or is it going to yell at me? There we go. I'll give him a shout out. Like I said, I should have a clinic video being posted with him right after the election, 5th of November. I think he has some people on there talking Flexbone and option stuff. But even if not, I'll give him a plug just because he was nice enough to have me on. Yeah, the Georgia Southern playbooks from like early 2000s. I have, I've seen those. I've seen the Hawaii ones from, like the early 90s. They aren't quite, they're really good foundationally as far as like plays and formations and whatnot. But I think a lot of the wrinkles in the last decade or so, it doesn't have any of the zone option type looks that I think have come in vogue in the last decade. Because I know if it's anything like my head coach, like we'd love to just see like what their official rules are. Like we've just kind of picked it all up by watching film. Speaking of which, Coach Lucella, Cella, I think usually does a lot of small Flexbone tidbit videos. And I've learned a lot even just from him on, small little coaching points on, plays, when to run things, how to react to different coverages. Yeah, and I know Coach Banstra is not, he's having other guys on. I just know when I was browsing through, he had a fair amount or a few Flexbone type videos on. I know he was, oh, he's going to kill me. I think he started as a wing T guy. Although I might be mixing him up with Coach Steve. There's a weird coaching Twitter world that I'm excited to, I guess, be a part of now. But fun being able to see how many guys have gotten a little stir crazy given COVID and just started, their own YouTube stuff, podcast stuff. I got lucky and had like a bit of a jump on it. Double wing guy. Yeah, there we go. Again, sometimes like I love doing my own videos, but when it comes to, streaming and editing and doing all that, sometimes it's nice to just go on other people's stuff. And then you just get to be like the guest. It's like when you're a kid and you go to a friend's house, like when you're the guest, you get to just show up and get treated well. There we go. I also still have no idea if this music's actually coming through, and I can hear it. Oh. I did see that the Army-Navy game is at Army this year. I think that's probably for the best. West Point Army, yeah, there we go. All things considered, I think if there was two teams that I trust as far as following protocol, it's probably Army and Navy. But as far as, venue, campus, getting people able to see the game, all that type of stuff, I think it'll be cool that it'll be on campus. I feel like Navy probably has Air Force coming up at some point soon. Doing the Air Force side of the... No, I did Navy Air Force, so Air Force Army must be coming up soon. Did I do that right? Yeah. Well, shoot. Been going crazy. Need to... I'm waiting for you guys in the chat to tell me that I missed something really big in the game. One of these times I'll screw up. Wing T, I was having this thought the other day with as far as content wise, being able to create content, on YouTube requires some amount of technical know-how. And I think the number of Wing T guys, similar to Flexbone to an extent, there's not a ton of them, and a lot of the Wing T guys might be a little bit older and not as prone to putting all their stuff online. Either that or, I know Double Wing is kind of a secret society in its own, and they don't really like to share things out with other people. So... yeah, I think there's so much Wing T stuff out there. I think I still have the original, Delaware Wing T book. And I read that at one point. I've never coached in the Wing T. I think it's very similar. People ask me, they're like, oh, can you do Wing T videos? And I was like, well, no. I know this offense, and even then, I do this to learn. But Wing T, I would leave that to someone else unless I actually... If there was a time where I felt like I had everything... if I learned everything Flexbone-wise there was, I could see that, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. You can have... quarterbacks so good they changed their offense. Is that book really that expensive? I think I unofficially have a PDF version of it, or an ebook version of it. I would think I still have it. Yeah, I was like, there's enough coaches that will willingly share things with you. Oh, I'm not gonna. Do I still have it? God, my ADD is so bad at the moment. Where would I have done this file? Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I've got it. Oh, no, hold on. That's practice drills. Oh, Delaware Wing T order of football. Yeah. All 242 pages of it. I do think it's interesting that people, back in the day, that was the go-to, right? If you were going to try to make it or make money or spread the gospel of whatever you wanted to spread, you had to make a book or a video series, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. But now some of those things are super hard to find. I found there's, yeah, if you Google probably like Delaware Wing T download, you might get lucky. And if that doesn't work, you could shoot me an email and I could probably direct you on where to get it. All right, into the fun part, hopefully. Yeah, Coach Mackey, I follow his stuff from afar, just you know, because it's air raid. But I know he's doing streaming and kind of getting into the, you know, the tech fun coaching world. So always respect what he's doing. Thank you, Ruben. We love the flex too. That's why well, why I'm doing what I'm doing and why, you know, other people decide to come hang out as well. So this is just tight. Do we have a place I'd oh, my eyes are hurting. Let's see. Everyone's just running forward. That's just zone dive. Sometimes when they do that reverse pivot, it's down G, but it doesn't look like there was a pulling guard. Oh, nice. Glad to hear that you are able to, or working on implementing this. Yeah, sometimes I get a lot of people that reach out. I'm always happy to help. You know, some people say they're trying to like, oh, you know, I want to add the triple to my offense. And you're like, well, that's not, what is this? Is this exactly what we were just talking about? Is over left? Obnoxious. All that just for what I'm thinking is trap. Yeah. Not a bad play. I 100% agree, Ruben. So that was the point I was trying to make before I got distracted. It really is something you need to go all in. You need to get the footwork right. You need to get just all of it, especially as a quarterback if you're going to be any good. Over left slot. To me, over left slot would be the two receivers would be both on the line. Slot would mean the A back was unattached. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how they call this. Maybe I need to figure it out this game if they're going to keep doing it. You know what? Screw it. I'm calling it over slot. Did he keep? No. Is he reading anyone here? What's his footwork here? So D end is unblocked. Or no. All right. A-back runs into him. That's probably just zone dive again. I thought he was... It just looked weird the way they were... my ADD. The way the A-back picked up the D end, I thought he was unblocked. It was just the way they had this. Also, one day I should show, you know, all the different answers I got on how to call that formation, essentially. All right, good. We're just in base here. All right, this is just triple, right? Let's look at the quarterback footwork. This is mid triple. Nice play. So mid triple mainly, right? So I can tell because the quarterback's footwork is he kind of jumps back from the center because the B-back is just running forward. And because they're in basically an odd front, the unblocked guys and the reads are going to be the same here in mid triple as they are in regular triple. Yoink. That's not a bad play. Wish there was a faster way to do this. Yeah, that's the other part. Like, I know a lot of these plays are tags, and like I don't want to get the tags wrong and then be held to keeping them consistent. Yeah, hold on. Is this that same trap? Yes, it is. So this is what happens when you get, because who was asking me earlier on what I would do for defense. Let's see, we were talking. Oh, Tomas was asking about defense to run. So this is what happens when you have a really good nose guard, because, oh, that's right. I forget I want to do like this stuff. Where's my arrow? Right. So like this nose guard, you're going to see the center doesn't get any type of movement on this nose. He actually goes backwards, which screws up this pull, which makes things not great. So then, well, they got lucky because UTSA can't tackle. All right, back in regular base. Let's see. A con or a twirl motion. Where's that guy lined up? Oh, because they're in a real weird defense. Theoretically, I guess we'd call this 3 down. I wonder if they would count this backer since he walked up early in the count. No. Yikes. I have no idea. It might just be triple. I think it was just triple because they didn't get any type of guy coming down on dive, so they just gave it. What did I say this was out of? Just base. Oh. Whew. Man, talking all day. Hopefully me grabbing water isn't too weird on mic. I'll have to go listen to make sure. So we're in tight. Good chance this is just zone dive. Yeah, so anytime the A-back is just running forward, so it's going to look like a veer here because they're basically just all running forward in a line, and the fact that the A-back takes that makes me think zone dive. Ruben asked, do I always do the cut-ups on Mondays? If I am able to. Sometimes I get busy, distracted, lazy, have to pretend to be a good husband every now and then. So I want to try to keep a better schedule, and I think Mondays should be good, especially now that I have a few weeks to catch up on. I might be doing this more whenever I can sneak on for, an hour or two to try to catch up on things. Sometimes though, when it catches up, since like this game wasn't this weekend, so sometimes it depends on how soon I can get the film. And they're going underneath that. My brain's not working super well. So this looks like we're coming down on one from there. I don't know why he gave that. That must just be zone dive out of tight again. Nice. Appreciate you too, Ruben. I think there are always... You can always set those notifications. I've been lazy the last couple weeks, but getting good feedback always gives me more motivation to do this. This looks like triples. Yep. Oh, what an awful block. Who was that? Who's 15? Oh, play side A back. Whiff. All right. Here, we're going to do a coaching point because I can't watch bad A-back play like that and not point it out. And I'm going to mark it on stream so that I know I can come back to it. So on this, so your A-back path is going to be... So this is out of con motion, right? So he's going to be coming back, and then at the snap of the ball, he's going to go back around. He still needs to get width and depth. And when we get through this, you'll see that he goes back, he goes out. I think what happened is he panicked because he sees that this safety is triggering fast. Really, he should continue to take a step or two outside, because what that's going to do is allow him to get leverage on this safety, because he attacks the safety with the wrong shoulder, right? He's sitting there and has to try to, make him play chicken one-on-one. And he guesses which way this guy's going to go and just tries to, hammer down on him. I've been watching too much Pat McAfee today. But theoretically, this guy should never come over the top of your A-back. Your A-back should be coming from such an angle that he's already gone. Sorry, this is my bad annotation. Here. He should be far enough outside where he should be meeting this guy here and coming back and sealing him to the inside. He shouldn't just be hitting him straight up and allowing the guy to come over the top. That's what I was trying to say. Because now he makes should have made the play. All that ranting, and I forgot that was just triple, right? Out of tight. Actually, while they have that motion, let me double check that footwork. I can't tell. Actually, mid triple. Ever so slightly, the footwork's a little bit different. Thanks, Trevor. That this stream is awesome. Working on the viewers thing, I do this for fun. So hopefully the more I do it, the more people come hang out. I know other coaches are getting to coach. We don't get to do that in Illinois right now, so I get to do this. That turn, was that a power or was that a down G? Oh, this is a new one out of Army. That's just power. Did they pull a guard on this too? No. Just power. Which, who did I watch? I watched Air Force run that in the Navy game. Really simple. Basically, your B-back just becomes the blocker. And then you hand it to the guy in motion. Ruben asks, how long have I been coaching flex at my school? This will be my 3rd year at my current school. And then, let's see, how long was I at West? And picked up my 2nd year at West. So I ran a version of it for 4 years at West. Is that right? There was kind of a weird year in there. I don't know. Call it 5 to 7. Something like that. The current school is 3, and they were running it before I got there, thankfully, because my head coach is great. All right, so he's stepping back. His midline footwork is not great as the quarterback. So that's just mid-triple again. They're just hammering it. I love mid-triple. It's probably my favorite play. I feel like people don't run it enough. I think at the college level, it's a little harder. But now we have some A-backs this coming season who will be very talented. That I trust to make that block on the outside. And this is just a pass out of base. Passes make my life easy because I'm not going to spend a ton of time going over passing concepts. Although I should, I can do a video on other passing concepts. This is just base. And this is going to be QB counter. Yikes. All right. What went wrong on this counter? Where did the other guy come from? Ooh, they got penetration. Oh, they got a blitz backside. That's why that looks so weird. I was like, they actually got a log on the first guy. Los Angeles is a pretty big area. I haven't coached there. I lived in LA for a project for work for a while. Yeah, you're going to see the most, whatever a team normally runs, right? You're not going to know. Yeah, they're going to come out basically running something completely different against you. So I would be ready for that. I think the biggest thing is to work with your linemen and your quarterback on just junk fronts, right? Like everything should just be down to rules, right? Who is the read on triple? Who's the read on midline? What happens if they're aligned like this? What happens if they're aligned like this? So there's no working against something all week. And then get into the game situation where they line up in something you're not expecting, and then all the kids freak out and you spend the first half trying to solve it. That's why I love this offense with everything just being rules based. So it doesn't matter what garbage defense they trot out, you'll be good to go and your kids will be ready to handle it. And that's my soapbox on junk defenses. Because, I feel like you don't see a lot. Well, we didn't see a lot last year. We saw just a lot of 4-4 last year. And a few teams tried to hit us with Eagle, and then we just ran outside. So let's see. Air Raid. Thank you for hanging out. And as an air raid, always appreciate other offenses. I was just talking to... God, who did I talk to about that? Coach Steve. on his podcast. This is just Lee. He's not even looking to pitch this. It winds up being just a QB follow. Sorry, I'm going to tag this before I lose my train of thought. What do I want to call this? I'll just call it zone option. Tight. So what was I rambling about? Have I watched any of the late 80s Georgia Southern? I have not. I was born in the late 80s, so I didn't grow up with that. It's always been on my list of something to check out, but haven't had the chance to. Trevor says, what teams run the option besides the academy? So obviously Georgia Tech was the biggest up until last year before. So then you've got, if you get into the pistol variation, you can talk like, Nevada used to. You get into like Georgia Southern. True flexbone outside of the academies, you've got Harding. Eastern New Mexico hits it really hard. You've got Kennesaw State in Georgia. Shoot, I just came up with this list for someone too because I was trying to do my research. Because someone asked me on Twitter. The Citadel in South Carolina, I forgot. Cal Poly in California. Ripon used to in Wisconsin. I don't know what they're running now. I could ask my head coach since he played at Ripon. So Ruben asks, to applying rules to each front, do we practice against even or odd on certain days? We do. So sometimes, depending on our league and our history that we have with other teams, we'll practice against kind of like how we know they've played us before. If we're facing a new coaching staff, new defensive coordinator, we'll try to find film on how they've defended things in the past. No, we don't separate it out by day, but we definitely script all of our plays where we'll go. Say if there's like 6 or 7 plays we want to practice, we'll do it against a 4-4, against a 4-3, against a 3-5, and just try to get those different looks. Also, we film all of our practices, so we want to try to get those as many looks as possible, so that we can kind of watch the practice film and break it down. This is just base pass. Vanderbilt is always I look at all the schools that are kind of academically superior. That one might get me in trouble. But anyone that's not going to compete with the big boys in their conference, you're not, if you're not going to beat them straight up and you're a perennial, middle of the road or lower school. But I think the Flexbone's a great choice. Vanderbilt's on that list. Northwestern's on that list. Stanford is on that list. I think you could make the argument, if you're not a blue blood program, right? Like my Wolverines aren't going to run Flexbone, primarily. Texas isn't, Oklahoma isn't. But if you're not one of those top, historical teams, there's no reason not to, other than you might have to like sell your fan base and your donors on it. I think this is just zone option kick, isn't it? Yeah. Rutgers would be, I usually point to Rutgers. Also, thank you, Rutgers, for beating Michigan State. That perennially will make me happy. anyone, right? I would look at like a Kansas. Les Miles doesn't seem to be working out, which is kind of sad. Who else would be on that list? Oregon State is probably on that list. Any G5 team, really. You could probably make the argument for like Arizona, which Arizona should have hired Coach Ken when they had the chance, and they let Tate Khalil ruin that. Yeah, it just looks like Zone Dive out of tight. Maryland is an interesting one because they're outside of DC. Like, they should be better. And there were a few years there with, who was that? Ralph Farigian, that they were really good. One kid from the town next to me is going to UMich for football. All right. I am excited to cheer for him. We had a quarterback from our league who is a 5-star kid, went down to IMG and is playing at IMG this year, but he'll be a freshman quarterback at Michigan next year that I'm excited about. Am I concerned about my quarterback taking a beating since he is involved in so many looks? Yes. I'm always worried about that. That's why we try to always have strong backups. We don't let our quarterback really play defense even when they want to. Wait, is that always true? Recently, that's been true. You really try to get the quarterback to eliminate hits. It's getting them to be smart, knowing when to do smart things with the ball. Not pitching under duress, making sure they are taking care of their bodies, right? Getting out of bounds when they can. Do we rotate fullbacks? Yes. We are not blessed with a huge program. We've carried a varsity team of the last 2 years, 28, maybe. So we've always had to have kids kind of play both ways. So we'd rotate 2 or 3 different B-backs through the game, just depending on, if our starting B-back is also the starting middle linebacker, if he gets an interception and runs, 40 yards, he needs someone to go in for him. Who is that? Is that just lead option? Kind of looks like there. Let's see. Who does the end guy block? Some of these blocking schemes are strange. I don't know if Army is doing wrinkles or if UTSA is showing them something they weren't used to. Yeah, I think I've never coached at a school that has like superior talent and can like 2 platoons. So you're always just trying to figure out like how you can get the most out of kids. And, it's almost like playing Madden where like they have their bars on how tired they are. You have to try to manage those throughout a game. This is tight. That's just zone dive. But yeah, depth is something I feel like we'll actually have. Oh, I think someone asked me just in the last couple of minutes when we're going to start. In Illinois, which I'm in Illinois, our season starts, I think, officially middle of February. And I think our first game is like first or second week of March. So we'll see. I don't think anyone really has any idea what that's going to look like yet. But I think our school said they're working on getting indoor practice time for us. So that'll be nice to not freeze in February because it's getting cold already. Is that end looping? I don't know. Whew. Man. So Tyler Martin, I haven't heard of that. Where is he from? I got really into in Massachusetts. Okay. Well, and that's Don Brown's recruiting ground. Acton. I feel like I have a client in Acton, Massachusetts. I used to get really into recruiting a few years ago, and then I realized that I was paying way too close attention to like what 18-year-olds were doing, and that didn't seem good for my mental health. Oh, here. I'll answer these questions because then I won't pretend that I need to keep cutting this up because it's more fun to just chat. Do we have specific rules for linemen when they influence block? I would need a little more information. To me, an influence block, it's usually an influence pull, is a big wing T thing where like you pull your players the opposite direction just to pull people in. We'll influence a little bit with our A-backs and send them in different directions based on what the defense is reading. So that's for Cameron. If you have any more info, just so I can know exactly what you're asking. And then Ruben, how do I anticipate the spring season and the effects it might have on the traditional fall season? This is really interesting. So we've been talking about this a lot as to what we're going to see. So when it comes into the winter or spring season, you're going to have the issue of it coming up against multi-sport athletes. If any of the guys are, wrestlers, basketball players, whatever that looks like and how that season goes. You're also going to run into guys that might be other spring sports or like hockey, where you're dealing with off-season conditioning, you're dealing with club level participation. For us, we're a young team. We're looking forward to it. Our young guys get, basically anyone that's a junior is basically almost a senior at that point. So they're going to have 6 more months of lifting, 6 more months of conditioning, hopefully be able to digest some of the playbook. And I think the pandemic, the COVID stuff, everyone's kind of dealing with it differently. So whatever team is kind of able to navigate it, this is the year that a team, this is what we're hoping for. A team that's traditionally not a powerhouse might be able to steal some games off of better competition. You never know if kids are going to have to sit out due to protocol, if people were lazy in their off seasons. There's all kinds of things that can happen. On top of, I'm excited to run this offense if we have to play in March because it's still going to be freezing. So a lot of like any air raid or spread teams trying to throw the ball around in March. We'll see how that goes. But if we can just ground and pound, that's kind of what we're hoping to do. And any team that watches us, that shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, practice time might actually be the hardest part on like where we're going to practice. This is just zone dive. At one point, I thought, wait, you have specific rules for your line when they block. Oh, like when they pull. Do we have rules for when they pull? Yes. So typically we want to make sure that the center can block back. So we wouldn't pull against like an eagle if the center is covered and the guard who's supposed to pull is covered. Most of our plays that have pulls would be trap, QB counter, counter option, down G. I think that's it. So as long as the defense isn't in an eagle, you know, where guard, center, guard are all covered, because then that's one more guy than we can block. I don't know. I feel like that wasn't a good answer, so I'm sorry. That just looks like triple. Sorry if you hear my dog now growling. On cue. Ooh, who whiffed? Oh, the A back whiffed. All right, just zone option. Nice. Whew, man, that was a lot of questions. Let's say at one point I had all my GIFs set up on my other software, but I don't have them anymore. But all these are good questions. This is a blast. I need to, what night is it? Monday night? Maybe I should look into doing this more Monday nights. Make it a regular thing, then I'll actually have an excuse to do it. Oh. Not rocket. This is a really awkward looking. Oh, this is down G. So down G is a really basic play. It's something that's not used a lot. I'm going to assume. I actually don't know if you guys can see my cursor or not. I think I determined maybe not. But down G, basically, we're going to fake like it's rocket this way. And then we're going to pull this guard. Quarterback's going to pivot like it's rocket and then hand it to the B back. Up the middle. We'll see. I forget how this one turns out. All right, so it's very simple. This is great, especially if people are overplaying rocket, because it allows you to kind of build a wall. And the idea is it's the play side guard who pulls, as opposed to the backside. So down pull. It's more of an old school blocking scheme, but it is an excellent play, especially against a 7-man box. Oof. Missed that. I didn't even see what notification popped up. Oh, missed FaceTime call. Whoops. One second. This is not nearly as exciting, but need to text my wife back. All right. So we've got tight. Let's see, what are A-backs doing? A-backs just running forward. That's just zone dive. It's not that exciting. Okay, back. We got tight right. I guess technically we're heavy left. Was that down G again? Yes, it was. And I hope my chat didn't break. Oh. Ooh. Maybe my chat did stop. So Ruben asked, do I think Illinois will still have a football season in the fall? I think we will. I hope. Counter option is tough. Pulling the guard, it shouldn't really be as hard as it is. The trouble with counter option is you need a very disciplined defensive end who's basically taught to stay at the line and squeeze, which not a lot of defensive ends are. And then even if you do get that look, you need the guard to be able to basically outrun him and log him around. I think we should probably run it more, honestly. And if you don't want to run counter option, I think there are enough other like counter ISOs, counter type plays that you can take advantage of. And Cameron, no worry on being late. I'm just hanging out and like to turn on stream. I am in Chicago, Illinois, and I coach varsity football. So, but I've coached. I guess I never technically coached JV, but I've coached freshmen. I've coached varsity in multiple states. This really just is QB follow? No. I think it's just lead option. My tags are going to be a little sloppy in this, trying to talk and do this at the same time, but I think you guys will forgive me. Always good to see Coach Steve hanging out and running the spread. Just coming to my stream to recruit. I see how it is. Oh. Just zone dive out of tight. Nothing that exciting. I think Coach, well, this is an unanticipated plug. I was on Coach Steve's podcast, and I think we talked about this for like 10 or 15 minutes. Just some people are very like territorial and defensive, but I think every coach, you know, basically knows you can win with anything. You know, I used to like to like whip it around and want to pass the ball all the time. And like you can change and grow and develop. Oh, what Cameron, what very small school in Southwest Michigan? Because there's a non-0% chance I've heard of it or have had friends from there. Cassopolis. All right, I may have lied. Maybe I don't know anyone that would have gone there. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm seeing where you're at. I was expecting further west. Because I have a bunch of friends from like, you know, the Niles, White Pigeon, Colon type areas. Who would they? Sorry, I realized now this is not nearly as entertaining for me to like look up on another screen. Here, if we're Ross Beatty. I was hoping to just get a quick. Oh, that's why, because I'm an idiot and didn't actually do what I wanted to do. And just put football to see if you would play any schools that I know. There we go. Oh yeah, so one of my good friends went to White Pigeon. Yeah, okay, I've heard of these schools. That's about as cool as I get. Yeah, agree that with Air Raid 414, 414 is Milwaukee? No. But yeah, always learning stuff is good. Especially as a coach, like I think that's probably one of the funnest parts is just knowing that you can always learn more offense. Sorry, I have to text the wife back. There's always more to learn, right? So whether you want to learn like a little bit about a lot of things or a lot about a few things, there's always more to learn. Oh, who pulled there? That's down G. Hold on. ADD. Oh, interesting. They had the quarterback keep with the down G action. Am I seeing this right? 1, 2, 3 linemen up top. They pull play side. I think it's technically a. So, sorry, realize that's now not nearly as exciting. Very cool on, BD. I do love Michigan. One day maybe I'll be back. Glad Big Ten football is back. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but let's see. This is gonna be another mid triple, yeah. White Pigeon. I'll have to give a shout out to my friend Travis who went to White Pigeon. There was a point I was going to make. Someone said about always wanting to learn. Oh, like I have friends that are like, oh, the flex bone is so small, so niche. Like, if you're gonna make it, if you're gonna get famous, you should like learn other things. And I was like, I really like my little like version of the world, and like every so often I like we were talking earlier, like I'll read the Delaware Wing T book. I like watching Coach Mackey and Coach Steve and other spread guys. It's not my it's not what I run. So like every day, like it doesn't really help me become a better like high school coach other than to like be able to know what other teams are doing. So we'll see. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons. So let's do so Ruben asks, and we were talking defense a little bit earlier. Defenses that give trouble. Odd fronts do tend to pose difficulty. Not necessarily overall, but if they have a really, really good nose guard that can stalemate or get penetration at the line of scrimmage, so your center's constantly kind of interfering with the mesh, makes the day very difficult. And then you also usually then have to use a guard to chip and double to try to stop him, which then leaves someone unblocked. Yeah, there's always the I feel like there's a lot of people in that same boat that just, like weird offenses, or maybe not weird, but outside of the norm. So I feel like there's a lot of crossover between air raid and flexbone guys. Gee, this is just QB follow. He just tucks and runs. We've been talking so much. Usually I can power through these videos quick, but it's been fun being able to just talk. Got like a whole other half. Yeah, I mean, that's the best part, honestly, about coaching in football. Like, you don't necessarily need to watch and be taking notes every Saturday on what teams run, but like there are very basic pass concepts that you can integrate in that aren't really expensive installs, that they're just route combos, and how you run them, how you coach them, you can still borrow from them. I do not run any pistol at my current school. I did previously. We talked pistol a little bit earlier. There are some things it gives you. There are some things it takes away. Some people would argue it's flashier and, gives your quarterback some more room, but then you have plays that, either elongate out or don't hit as hard, between the tackles. That's probably the biggest difference in things I see. Oh, you tag all of your running plays with a pass? And is it a true RPO read, or are you calling at the line, either the coach or the quarterback? Is this backside? No, that's play side. Yikes. I feel like I should know this. I've never seen a team run so much like down, it's a down G Q. I hate when I decided to tag this differently. Because then theoretically everything before it becomes wrong. But I can live with that. If you guys can. If I were really feeling optimistic, I'd go, if I had all the time in the world, I'd go fix those other ones. Just pass out of tight. The best part is when they just pass, it makes my life easier. Come on. And of course, my dog was nice enough to come into my office, fart, and leave. So if you see me start gagging, that's why. Oh, heavy tight right with the A-backs to the left. So what do we call that? Like an over tight slot? Fake the B toss and a pass. Well, should have been a pass. Oh, there we go. Now my wife's here. Audible, check with me, and RPOs. Those sound good. All right, we got a few plays left. I think we can get through this, hopefully. It's out of base. Oh, and he's just... Oh. My closest friends. All right, so everyone's coming down. Oh, God, what does that become? It's not really a speed option, or I guess it's a lead option. It just has weird action on it. Yeah, if I knew all these tags, I'd be a lot better. So Ruben's asking what our audible system is like. We kind of have two. We either tell our quarterback like we want the same thing, but we want it to the other side. Or sometimes like we call our plays on cards, so we can straight up just tell everyone to look to the sideline and lift up a new card as to what they're going to run. We've had some success. Sometimes it's hard. You have to have communication from the booth, and you've got to, the players have to know the cards, which isn't always the easiest thing. But otherwise, we've had pretty good success with it. Rock it out of tight. But a lot of times on audibles, we kind of have a play kind of in the chamber, so we know like, hey, like we like this play, but if we, if the look changes or we get something different, that's what we want. And this is just down G, which is nice. All right, a few more to go. All right, so we're at... I just keep calling this tight. And zone option kick. Whew. Do I need to keep refreshing? I was worried that my live stream or my chat froze. Okay, perfect. Should still be there. Zone option kick again. Okay, we call this what? Overslot. And this is a trap, I can tell already because the guard moved. Oh, nice. All right. Well, I know we've got about a quarter left. I realize that it is getting late and I have not had dinner yet. So I need to go eat dinner. I will leave. Well, Will I leave this on? I don't know. No. So I'll wind up ending the stream. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. This has probably been the best stream I've done. Always happy to answer questions. Always happy to help via, social media, email, however you can get in touch with me. There's all kinds of ways. Check out my appearances on the Armchair Coaching podcast and the Sideline podcast with Coach Steve. Coach Steve was nice enough to drop in. Oh, the Sidelines with Coach Steve. I've been calling it the Sideline podcast. I'll have to change that. But who was nice enough hanging out in the chat. Definitely go give him a follow and a listen. And if you want to listen to us just kind of talk coach stuff for 90 minutes, listen to that podcast episode and all the other ones he does. I will probably wrap this up. I don't know if I'll turn the stream on to just wrap up this last quarter, but this video should be up in the next couple days. Thanks for joining, and let's plan to do this next Monday. So I'm signing out, and I will talk to you guys then. Peace.